Okay, so congratulations. If you are on this video, you have completed your work for the third week of e-learning. So that is the first week of our primary source project, which I think, and from what I've heard from other students, is the hardest part. So you are through the hardest part of it. What you're going to focus on if you are ready to start the April 21st lesson is project planning. Again, if you are behind, feeling overwhelmed, you can skip the check-in. Project planning is directly related to the directions that you read on April 14th. So if you need to refresh yourself before you begin, I would do so. This one is labeled as a survey, you'll see. Canvas is really silly. It won't let me just ever label something as an assignment. I am using the quiz and survey platform because it means you don't have to mess with a Word document or a PowerPoint or anything annoying like that. So when you are planning your project, keep in mind that you are going to be creating, finding, and then analyzing and evaluating primary sources. So I want you to think about what the hardest thing will be when it comes to having to create or find or analyze something. Okay, so if you're someone who is really creative and artistic, it's probably not going to be challenging for you to be creating your primary sources. A better example of a challenge you might face is being able to analyze your own source, because it's really awkward sometimes to look back on our own work and be able to reflect on it. You're then going to brainstorm 3 ways you can overcome that challenge. One of the ways can literally be to email me. It can be to come to my help sessions. It can be to ask a friend. Okay, doesn't have to be super fancy to be correct. And then I ask what you think you will excel or do really well at. So celebrate something that you're good at when you have to work on some of these longer projects, okay? Keep in mind, again, you are creating, you're finding, and you're analyzing. So what is your strength? Are you the creative person? Are you the logical, analytical person? Do you absolutely rock it out on researching and finding things? There is no wrong answer for this one either. The next part of the survey is giving you definitions for what it means to create and what it means to curate, because you're going to be doing both. When you're creating something, obviously that means that you are making something original using the tools that you have at your fingertips. When we're curating, we are finding something, but we are also being very specific or very careful when we find it. So it's not just picking the first Google result. When we curate something, we are looking for the best version of something. So question 3, if you are struggling to put things into your own words, you can borrow mine. And then question 4, I want you to find something to focus on for your primary sources. So for example, I am focusing on going to the grocery store during the pandemic. That just seems like the easiest project to do alongside you guys. So you could pick something like what it's like to live at home during the pandemic, or what it's like to not see your friends. There's also been people who have decided that they don't want to focus on that because that's like a bummer. So they're focusing on cool trips they took in the last year, or a historic mystery like the Loch Ness Monster that interests them. Again, there's not really a right or wrong answer to this. I just want you to have a thought in mind before you move on, because when you start having to curate and create things, it's going to feel really overwhelming to not have a topic to focus on. So again, if you need help or you have questions, make sure you're emailing me or messaging me. Come to the help sessions that I host on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Last week, I sat down with people, sat down digitally, and we actually found sources together. So this is not something that you have to do alone.